Class, let's go ahead and let's talk about what a stock is. So don't go buy at nonsense and invest. This is probably why you're broke in the first place right now. Invest your money into things that are going to go ahead and turn your money into more money. If you want to stop being broke, if you want to stop being poor, if you want to stop having low bills and debt, start using your money to turn it into more money. If you want to be foolish and be a consumer, that's fine. Choose your pick. But life is only getting more expensive, so choose what you want to be on. Okay? Do you want to be someone who's providing, who's succeeding, and is going to be self-sustainable? Or if you want to be someone who's just not self-sustainable, no money in your bank account and no wealth built or left for anybody around you, it's your choice. So invest. If not, up to you. But here's what a stock is in the first place. So a stock is owning a piece of the company. Okay. So instead of buying the actual product itself, buy the stock. Okay. A stock is going to go ahead and give you a part ownership of that corporation. And that money is going to go ahead and make you more money by buying and holding. So the reason why people even start the stock market in the first place is due to the fact that, or put their company on the stock market, is due to the fact that they want to raise funds for their company. Okay, more funds raised, which means more parts, materials, etc., can be put into the business. Okay, and when that happens, that means the business could potentially get bigger. Okay, and make more money, grow potential wealth. Okay, and the bigger the company gets, the more you'll get rewarded for that. Because since you're a part holder, the share price will go up. Okay, so the share price is going to be the price that pretty much just depicts its number value. And as the share price increases, let's say you bought in at a $39 share price, for example. If it went up to $100, okay, you would make a certain percentage gain depending on how many shares that you have. Okay, so a stock is formally called a share, and each share represents a tiny fraction of the company's assets and earnings. And the company divides its total value into millions of these individual shares. And why the price moves in the first place? So the stock price change based on supply and demand. And when more people want to buy, okay, that means demand is higher than the supply. Then the price goes in an upwards direction, okay? And this demand is driven by expectations of the company's future profits. So the reason why it's going up is becoming more scarce. Okay, so people who already have it or people who are buying into it are either going to be buying at the highs, or if you got into it at the lows, you're going to be holding onto it. And since the company is getting value, you're going to go ahead and be able to make some money based off of that. So why do companies go for public in the first place? Okay, the IPO. So first of all, companies go public due to the fact that it helps raise capital. Okay, once again, more research development funds, more material funds, etc., can be garnered by just putting your company on the stock market. So the primary reason is to generate large amounts of cash for company growth. So it helps you fund research and development, pay off existing company debt, and to expand operations globally. And the money raised does not have to be paid back, unlike a loan. And the initial public offering, the first time a private company sells shares to the public. So before a stock market company can be available to the public, it has to first go through a private investor. Okay, so someone on the back end has to purchase all the shares. Okay, they have to purchase all of it, and then it can go ahead and be available into the company. And after the IPO, the shares trade on an exchange, okay, also known as the New York Stock Exchange, the NASDAQ, S&P 500, etc. And the secondary market is where everyday investors buy and sell to each other. Okay, and this is going to be available on your brokers like Webull, Robinhood, and just the stocks you're going to be able to purchase on your phone. So a reason why investing is going to be so powerful is when it gives you your time back. Okay, you can go and put your time into working harder at your business, working harder to developing yourself. Okay, stop being a consumer. Stop spending all this unnecessary money on shoes you can't even afford right now. Okay, some of y'all can't even buy the items that you own twice. If you own items that you can't buy twice, okay, that's not a good look. Okay, it's time to either A, run it up again, or you just have more stuff in like liabilities than assets. And the liability is something that's not making you any capital. It's just something you just spent money on. Okay, so don't make foolish decisions. Okay, stay down. Some people don't know how to stay down, and then people wonder why they're broke. They wonder why they're poor. They wonder why they don't get anywhere. And it's because people don't know how to stay down. Once people start learning how to stay down, they'll stop being broke. Okay, and once they realize, okay, my money's a tool. Instead of me being a pansy animal and investing in somebody else's company who just dropped the product to me, instead of me putting money in their pocket, let me put money in my own pocket. Let me invest. Let me build myself up. But some people aren't ready for that. Okay, some people are just always going to be slaves. Okay, they're going to be broke slaves. But if you don't want to be a broke slave, you need to start investing. Okay, if you don't want to be someone who's controlled by just wages and everything, let your money make some money. Okay, God gives us a really beautiful opportunity in order to do that. But if you want to spend your money on nonsense and then not invest, that's going to be fine, because the people who are investing are making substantial income. Okay, I don't want you guys to be broke anymore. So keep investing, keep going, keep building that stash. So, stock terminologies, ticker symbol. The short, unique abbreviation used to identify a stock on an exchange, okay? That's gonna be the ticker symbol. You're gonna have Apple, okay, AAPL. You got Tesla, TSLA, Google, GOOG, also known as GOOGL. Okay, you're gonna have certain other companies as well too. They're gonna be tradable on the stock market, okay? And when you're gonna be able to invest in them, you can trade a couple of things. Either A, you can buy shares, which pretty much just give you a piece of the pie, okay, depending on how many shares that you do own, okay? So shares equal ownership. The reason why I like shares too, I recommend you guys have 2 accounts, okay, or 2 portfolios. One for day trading, okay? Whether you're day trading penny stocks or trading stock options, which is where you get paid based off of just directional bias, where you can trade in upwards direction or downwards direction, okay? So instead of having ownership, you're getting paid based off of your correct analysis pretty much with options. So you can either trade stock options or buy shares, or I like to personally do both. Okay, I like to take my options profit and reinvest it back into shares. Okay. So reinvesting your money, it's a cycle. Your money should be a wheel. It should be a wheel. I'm starting to really understand how everything comes into place. It should be a wheel. The reason why people are broke, the reason why people go down bad is because they don't put their money in a wheel. They don't put it in any type of water. They don't let it flow, and they're not letting their money do anything. Okay. So if you don't invest, you're going to be broke. So voting rights. Owners of common stock typically get 1 vote per share on a major company decisions. Okay. So the more shares that you have too, and especially people who own a large amount of shares, have a lot of jurisdiction when it comes to the company heads and as well as the votes. So the votes go towards who's going to run the company. Okay. And this is going to be a really big thing. Okay. When it comes to certain stock ETFs, exchange traded funds, say you invested like $2 million, right, into an ETF, and you could easily make $70,000 a year just based off investing that $2 million, which you could still withdraw at any time, right? But since you have $2 million in there, you could easily make $70K a year. Okay, you're gonna be able to make $70,000 a year, okay, just by having $2 million invested, okay? And you could live off that for the rest of your life, pretty much. So even if you touch $2 million, you could pretty much never go broke. Okay, going broke is really how you maneuver your money. Okay, I've really been staying down these past few months and just been running up a big bag. Alhamdulillah. Okay, so stay down. When you stay down, you don't buy what you don't need to be buying. When you should start investing, stacking up that money, it runs up quick. Okay, everyone should have at least $10,000. Okay, and if not, it's time to grind. It's time to pray and grind. Okay, but try to get to at least $10,000 in your bank account, in your brokerage account, and in your crypto account if possible. Okay, just spread across. So 2 ways to invest your profits. Okay, you're going to get paid based off of capital gains, and that's when you're pretty much just right. Okay, if you know that something's going to go ahead and go in an upwards direction, let's say you found a really good company that you just believe in, let's say StackMode, right? Let's say the StackMode company, let's say I opened it, boom, for example, okay, and let's say it went up. Okay, if I got in at the lows at $2 a share, and then price went up to $100 a share, boom, I would go ahead and make some profit based off of that. Okay, so whatever the profit is, you can throw it into a stock calculator, okay, which will go ahead and show you how much profit you're going to go ahead and make too. So this is just getting paid based off of appreciation, okay, which pretty much just means you're getting paid as the stock goes in an upwards direction, as the share price increases, and as the future value increases. And it's making money when you sell a stock for a higher price than you paid for it. So if you bought it at 40 and then you sell it at 100, that's profit. If you bought it at 20, you sell it at 80, that's profit. If you bought it at 10, you sell it at 25, that's profit. Okay. And this is the most common and largest source of return for high growth stocks. And then you can also get paid in something called dividends. Okay. Dividends are going to be a really, really solid way to go ahead and generate income, especially once you have enough money invested into it, where you can receive regular cash payments from the company's profits. Okay. So if you, once again, if you have like $2 million invested into an ETF, okay, you can easily make $70K a year in returns. Okay. For example. So if you invest your money into the right places, you can never go broke. Okay. and they're often reinvested to buy more shares, utilizing compound growth. So you get paid based off of the shares and you're getting paid based off of the dividends. So if you invest in certain things, you're going to be in an extremely good position, inshallah. And the goal is to find companies whose value will grow over time. So some takeaways. So when you own shares, understand that you're going to be the owner, okay? You can hold shares for 30 years if that's what you want to do. And I actually encourage you guys to hold shares for over 1 year if possible. Okay, when you hold shares for over 1 year, you're actually subject to a lot of long-term tax benefits. And it's going to be really, really good for your portfolio. And you guys are going to get, once again, a lot of benefits for just holding a trade for over a year. Now, when it comes to day trading, okay, the short-term capital gains tax is going to be a little more intense, but this is why you're taking that profit and reinvesting into something that's going to make you more money, because that way taxes, inshallah, especially when you're making good trades, it should go ahead and all cycle out with each other as long as your money is always being thrown in the hamster wheel. And the secondary market, okay, secondary market is where you trade with other investors, not directly with the company after the IPO, okay. And the secondary market is going to be the market that we normally trade, that we're able to go ahead and buy shares, buy options, etc. on. And take a look at the business. The stock price follows the success of the company right behind it. And investing is owning a slice of the company's growth and the economy's growth. Okay, make wise decisions, spend your money wisely, invest. Okay, if you're noticing yourself, you can never afford your bills. Okay, you're spending too much money. Take a look at your bank statements. What are you buying? Okay, take a look at everything that you're wasting your money on. What can be reduced? Are you eating out too much? Okay, if you're eating out too much, it's time to start buying groceries. Okay, the technology that you have, dumb it down. You can't afford it right now. Okay, some of you guys have just things that you just shouldn't have, you know, priorities. And priorities are the reason why people don't get rich, you know, and not everyone is meant to get rich. I'm starting to realize that. Some people are meant to stay exactly where they are. Not everyone is meant to get wealthy, but if you're interested in getting wealthy, you got to learn to sacrifice. That's going to be one of the main things I can go ahead and tell you. If you're anyone interested in getting wealthy, putting yourself in a better position, putting your family in a better position, you got to sacrifice. Okay. Once again, not everyone is meant to be rich and wealthy. Okay. Not everyone is going to get there, and that's fine. But if you want to get there, sacrifice, stay down where everyone else is out doing nonsense. You have that fun later on. Okay. When you're secure, you're going to be balling, hooping, not stressing. Bills overly paid, stash overly healthy, in stack mode. Okay. While people are out and then they come back home and then they start stressing about bills and stuff like that, letting that real life hit them. And then that's why people go run to things like alcohol, drugs, etc. and stuff like that, because their life just isn't together. So just get your life together. Get your life together. Let your money make some more money and just start living a way better life. All right. Love you guys so much. Head over to stackmode.net for all trading education. I'll catch you in the next one. Stay prayed up to God. Keep grinding.